Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. I watched a video yesterday from WheezyWaiter. If you don't know WheezyWaiter, I will try to remember to put a link down below, but you can search for him. He's been on YouTube since it started, essentially. And he does some thought-provoking videos sometimes. And yesterday was a video about like 5 pieces of advice that are terrible, like terrible advice. And one of those was, I think, and the thing that caught my attention was like what, the thumbnail said, money can't buy happiness. And then he talked about why that's just BS. And I was like, yeah, it is BS, right? Like that's, I had a very weird reaction to it because internally I know that money can't buy happiness. That happiness comes from your acceptance of your, where you are in life, where you are in the world, whatever it might be. But that's not how that statement is typically interpreted. That statement is typically interpreted as money can't buy happiness, like as a literal value, literal face value. And that's just not true. And I can speak to it from personal experience that it's not true, because as an American living in an American society with American societal pressures, money absolutely can buy happiness. And it's not necessarily that having tons of money will make you happy. But I can tell you that not having enough money to meet basic needs is crippling. And that is the opposite of happy, right? I've been there. Within the last 7 or 8 years, I've been there. 10 years, whatever. When my ex moved out, she left me with approximately $12,000 in debt. Between credit cards, unpaid taxes, unpaid HOA fees, I was like $12,000 in debt, and I was making like less than $40,000. So it was a quarter of my gross salary in debt. I was bringing home almost exactly how much I was spending. There was when I say there was no money left over, I don't mean there was no money left over except for my Starbucks, or there was no money left over except for the soda that I kept in the fridge, or there was no money left over. There was nothing. I've talked about it before. At that point in my life, I was $20 away from being, bankrupt. It was that, there was no money to go to the doctor. I couldn't pay a copay without having to take on some other job or work. I was destitute. I was really close to losing everything, and I could tell you I was extremely unhappy. Now, was the money the reason I was unhappy? No, not really. It's just the matter was things changed, right? Things shifted. When I bought this house, when we bought this house, we were financially comfortable and we were still living below our means. I've always tried to live below my means, meaning that, can I afford what I have even if I lose my job and have to go somewhere else and take a pay cut? That's important to me. The answer was yes at that time. However, things shifted financially for me. Not so much. I was still making what I was making, but she stopped bringing home income. In fact, she was spending family income on her business, like paying her employees and such. So we were spending money that we did not have. That's where this credit card debt came from, to try to keep this business afloat, which did not work. And so I was not aware of that. I had no idea. And yeah. So for a few years, from 2017, 2016, 2017, 18, 19, maybe even into 2020, there was nothing for me. I was just paying off debts. And then things started to kind of come back around. I got a pay raise. I took a new job within my company, which afforded me a raise. And I can tell you that the difference between then and now, the difference of being able to, I get a bill that shows up in my email. All my bills are nothing's on paper anymore. I get a bill that says, hey, there's a new hospital bill. It's $200. I just pay it. Electrical bill. I just pay it. There's no, like, I don't need to figure it out. I don't need to budget it. And the comfort that comes with that ability to say, everything is covered within reason, you know? Obviously, if something catastrophic happens, then I'm going to have to figure some stuff out. But I now have enough put aside. I have retirement savings and that sort of stuff that it's going to be okay in the long run. But right now, as of right now, everything is like just cool. And the comfort and the, I don't want to say happiness because it's not happiness, but there is a joy to knowing that I don't have to worry about where the electric bill is going to come from this month, or having to, I got to figure out a job real quick so that I can make the money to pay for the gas bill or water bill or whatever it is. So I had this weird reaction when I watched the video because ultimately I agree. Money can't buy happiness. But being in debt with no means of repaying it, that can definitely buy depression, for sure. But there are people who make nothing and are perfectly happy. They're choosing not to live within, with the pressures of what society expects of them. And they can be happy that way. Or there are people who live in societies that don't have anything. That they live in, I don't want to say primitive cultures, but some of them literally are primitive cultures. They're choosing to live primitively and are just happy as can be. And it's true that you could give them infinite money and it wouldn't necessarily make them happier because they're already happy. Finding your own happiness is important. It's an important life goal, but it's very hard to do when you're financially struggling within whatever. And I mean, all of it could be argued that it was my fault. Sure, it was partially my fault. It was half my fault or whatever. It was ultimately my fault that I was in such crippling debt. And that's like, to say 12 grand, that's like nothing to some people's debt like that. I mean, I still owe $100,000 on this house or whatever, but I don't really, that's just money that goes out of my check. It's no big deal. Like whatever, it's whatever. But to say money can't buy happiness, man, that's a powerful statement that I don't know, how do you qualify that statement? I'm definitely at a financial point where I don't think money could make me happier. Money could give me more opportunity and, more freedom to explore my interests, but that's not necessarily going to make me happier. It's just going to give me more, focuses for my attention or more escapes from my whatever. But right now, I'm really damn happy. Like, it's good. It's really good. And money absolutely helped. So I don't know how I feel about it. That's why I came to you, because I know you'll tell me. That's what people do here. They reach out to me and say, here's why or why not money can buy happiness. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's 1,000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. We are learning 10 mistakes unhappy people make. Number 10, dealing with the stress of deceiving others. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to be somewhere, be there. If you say you feel something, mean it. If you can't, won't, and don't, then say so up front. Live in such a way that if someone decided to attack your character, no one would believe it. Live so that when the people around you think of fairness, caring, and integrity, they think of you. This goes right back to sacrificing your own happiness for someone else, number 8. Because often I feel people deceive because they don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. And so they're just like, I'll just take on this stress of just lying to you or whatever because I don't want to hurt your feelings or make you feel like I don't appreciate you or whatever. Where it's much better to be like, I don't want to do that. And just live your life. And the other person, that if it hurts them, okay, maybe talk that out with them. Or otherwise, maybe that's not the right person to have that relationship with. But yes, lying is horrific. Don't do it. Figure out a way out of it. I can say that from tons of experience.